Hi everyone, Sean back from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and welcome to the fourth and final chapter of the Romulan Warbird from AMT. This is a 3200 scale model, and she's all done. It's taken me quite a bit, everybody. The seam lines, the putty work on this were very hard to do. Now, granted, I really did try to put a little bit more effort into this one than I may have in the past, trying to extend my skills, get a little bit better, but unfortunately that comes with a little bit more of a time commitment. So that has been part of the explanation of why this has taken so long. But I hope that you all enjoy this, and it's just the final chapter. We're going to go through all the final steps of this and get it out to you. Now, before you click off or fast forward on this, I would ask all of you, if you're enjoying these, please leave a like and or a comment on this video. YouTube has been extending the importance of likes and comments as far as counting for engagement. So if you're enjoying these, please go ahead and click that. It would really help the channel out and help grow. And if you feel like sharing it to anyone that you may not have and who would enjoy models, go ahead and share it. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget, send me emails, everybody. Send me those pictures of the stuff you're doing, because when we continue with the Sci-Fi workshop, we will, of course, be showing some excellent pictures that you've been sending in. They've kind of waned off a little bit, but don't stop. I really like getting those, and we will be sure to show those on the Sci-Fi workshop. Okay, everyone, that's it. Enjoy this final reveal, and we will see you down the road. Take care. Okay, everyone, I'm out here. It's a nice summer morning, and I thought I'd get out and do a little masking and show you where we are with the painting. So what we're looking at here is the bottom part of the wing span. It's the bottom half, so there's going to be a top one that goes over here. And as we talked about, we wanted to get all the painting and detailing done on this part as well as the part that's above this before we put the piece together, because we're not going to be able to get an airbrush in there when there's a cover on here. So as you can see here, we've done some little detail painting. I just did kind of what I thought looked cool. I didn't follow any pictures, and there's nothing I'd looked in the instructions that helped me at all. So these are just little indents and recessions and weeblies and things like that made it look kind of cool and sci-fi. So I thought maybe a little bit of red would look nice. Some gunmetal. We got some gunmetal here. This is flat red. To me, a flat red. I think it's XF7. Yeah, XF7 for that. And we had some gunmetal there for this. Now this came out almost looking silver. But just so you know, it's to me an X10. And if you look at the cap, it looks like it's a dark gray, but it came out with the silvery color. So just, you know, try to make some details and look some little things and everything. And then we have here. So this here is, it's light gray. It's to me a light gray. I believe it's, goodness gracious, where is it? Ah, here it is. XF66. I thought this was like a nice kind of a medium gray, because as we talked about, these things always tend to have like a shade or two lower after we put in the clear coat and everything. And then on top of that, in here, this detail, now you can see that there's a lot of etching and texture in here. And I wanted to highlight that and give those things some shadow. Because, you know, when you get little things like this, it's kind of hard to tell. So what you want to do is do some panel lining. So I got some of this, I used dark gray, not black. So it's to me a panel line accent color. It's very thinned out paint. And I just kind of washed it in there and let it soak in a second. And then I took a Q-tip and, or a cotton bud, as they say, over across the pond, and just wiped off the excess. And you can see it gave like a nice, some nice shadowy stuff. But now we have the issue of some bleed over. You see some gray there that kind of came out onto the green. I don't want that. So, and just so you know what I did mask this off carefully with frog tape and everything. But of course, it's not really easy. What I should have done, you guys, I should have painted this first, and then I should have done what I'm going to show you now. So bear that in mind. If you're doing this along with me, I definitely recommend, before you do any of the painting green here, paint these recessed areas with the gray first. You can just smother it with, not smother it, but you can go over the lines with it. And then once that's dried and the wash is on, you can do the technique I'm going to show you here. So what I've done is I've got my Vallejo liquid mask, and I've really come to like this stuff, you guys. It does dry really fast, and it goes on smooth. It's not quite as runny as water, but it's pretty runny, and it will find its ways into crevices and stuff. What I do is I put that in here, and we've talked about this quite a bit. I love these little bottles for paint, for mask. You can make a slurry of a mask, you know, like the Vallejo plastic putty or other plastic putty. You can make a slurry and put it in here, and you have really fine and accurate small applications of this. So we're going to do this with the mask in here, and I'm going to show you how cool this is. I always talk about it, but I don't know if I've shown it. So it works really well. I've got the other piece drying in the other room right now, and I'm just going to demonstrate here how this works. So I just take it here, and you don't really need to squeeze it much. And since this is recessed, this is going to fill in really nicely. So I'm not even squeezing here because I just filled it up. And so I'm going to go around the edges here. Now this one I can kind of tip to the left here because I don't have anything in any other ones. But once you get the edges done, then it's just a matter of going up and down and letting it find its own level. You know, you're just kind of filling up a little pool. Okay, it's mostly done here. I'm just going to take a little swab here and just clean up just a little bit. Well, doesn't look like I'll get that, but that's okay. There's a little part here. Let's see if we can zoom in where I kind of went over, and it's coming over that little triangle part here that I had painted. Not a problem though. Once I paint it, I'm just doing this so I can clean up some of this green here. So that's already painted. Once this dries or starts to dry, I'm going to come back through and find maybe put a little bit more on top just to be sure. It's going to dry up real nice, and then I can come through with the airbrush on the green and just tidy up some of the little spots here that I got a couple little sprays, dots, and some bits that I missed. I want to get that all cleaned up. So hopefully you enjoy this. Oh, I was zoomed in there. Hopefully you guys like this demonstration here. I really like this method. It's really great and accurate. So once this is all done, paint it, and this will just peel right off, and it'll be good to go. I only have one more part to do. It's on the top part. There's a couple recessed in bits like this on the top part of the ship. So as soon as my other mask dries, it's in the other room, and get that done, I'll show you what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to do this little segment for you and show you this neat little technique. These bottles are just amazing. You can get them on Amazon, like a dozen for just a few dollars, and maybe you get them at hobby stores and stuff. But really good stuff. You can do all kinds of applications with these guys. So that's it. We will see you on the next section when we're getting the ship all put together. Okay, everyone, just a short aside here. And right here we have the finished or dried up masking that we put in these little recessed areas. I've already taken one of them out, and I just wanted to demonstrate the removal of these and show you really how easy it is. So I've got my little dental pick here, and all I'm going to do is just gently kind of hook in there and being careful not to hit the paint underneath. And then I'm just going to pull it right off. And there we go. Do another one here. Again, just hooking into the gel or the goo, whatever the stuff is. Pull that out. Thankfully, this is not leaving any little bits behind. And that's because I did put an ample amount in there. And there we are. And it's all good. I did go through and paint this. So I was being careful right now because there's a little bit of wet paint. And then that's it. So I'm going to do the other part of the ship here, which we have. There's some more pieces there I got to pull out. And then on the bottom over here, I have to pull these out. And that's it. So once that's done, we'll go ahead and solder these wires here and from the head over here. Let's zoom out. Right there. They'll come together, and then we'll just do some putty work and final painting, and we should be done pretty soon with this. So stand by. Well, everyone, here we are with the final reveal of the Diderodex class Warbird from AMT. So really not much to say other than this really took a lot longer than I had anticipated. And part of that is just because I really wanted to do a bang-up job on this. I wanted to get the seam lines as good as I can. I wanted to make sure that the lights went all the way back through the spine here. That I have seen some builds of this model tend to end the lights about here, but I went ahead and put them all the way back, so I'm pretty proud of that. And the paint job that I did on this, I'm particularly proud of. Let's shine the light on here a little bit more so you can hopefully see it. Now, along the feathered emblem or the feather contours of this thing, I put a darker green with the airbrush, just outlining these as we talked about before. And that is to do the same effect that you see on military planes and tanks and stuff. There's generally, you'll airbrush a black or a darker color along those seam lines or panel lines to give some better effects on the paint. And I went with that strategy here. And as you had seen from the previous videos, it looked a little wonky at first. My hand was a little unsteady, but I more or less just followed the lines of the wings, and I think it turned out pretty good. Now, there was a viewer who was really kind and sent me a stencil for those, which I was really happy to get, so I want to thank that person. I don't know the name offhand, so I apologize, but it was very, very kind. And if I had had my cutting machine at the time, I may have tried to employ that. Surely I will if I decide to do this model again. If that does happen, though, it would be in the future. However, I'll probably try to cut them out, maybe paint them on something else, or just do it for some practice. But very, very kind gesture, so I really appreciate it. That being said, though, I have seen some builds of this where the feathers of the Warbird are a little bit more prominent. And surely in some shots of Next Generation, we do see a little bit brighter lines in here. But, you know, I like to kind of go with my own thing sometimes. So I went ahead and just did that. Now, I'll just curve around here. And it is a little bit wobbly here because I had to use a different stand or pole there, rod to support this thing, and I don't have one that is exactly fit to this. I wish I had a better selection of those, and maybe I should order some various sizes and things like that for the future. So let's talk a little bit about the paint here. Again, I think most of the builds I've seen are pretty much just all green. Certainly it is on the shell, but I wanted to add some nuance to this. So these little grills here, I did in a neutral gray. Let's move the light out a little bit so it's not reflecting. I did a nice neutral gray, which gave it a nice kind of a machine looking thing. I did some, this is, I believe, gunmetal right here on some of these bulbs. There's bulbs throughout the ship. There's two here, two here. There's one on the side of the head there that I guess simulate eyes. And there's a couple more around that I went ahead and did it with a gunmetal. It gives a nice kind of a shiny metallic look. A little bit of detail in here, some gunmetal. And then down in here, we did some more. So I'll take the camera down here, and we'll take a look at this. Now, I am going to point out there was some putty work that I had to do here, and apparently it dried a little bit whiter. Excuse my shot there. So right there is just some putty residue. I'm going to get off with a Q-tip and some water. It'll come right off. It's just perfect plastic putty because there was a little light leak coming out right in here where the nacelle meets. So I had to cover that. I just did that about 10 minutes ago. So that plastic putty dried up. So I'll just get that off with a wet Q-tip. Shouldn't be a problem. And so let's go here. We'll scoot around and we'll zoom in. And you can see here's some more detail. There's a little bit of an edit there. My mic fell out. So you can see here there's some nice detail in here that we put in. It's some reds and some more gunmetal there. Let's zoom in a little bit tighter. You can see that. I just did that with a brush and it came out pretty nice. Did these little red blobs inside there. And back here on those recessed areas, you can see we did a light gray. I think it was a royal gray. And then we put some panel line in there to wash that out and give those textures some depth there. It's kind of hard to see unless you look in there, but I thought it was a pretty cool detail. And let's go underneath the ship if we can. And you can see there's some more detail there. Now on right here, there is like some things that look like intakes. There's some gunmetal there that I put, and it's just on some rigid areas. It's kind of hard to see in the light there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple build. Like we said, there's 2 pieces on the top here, 2 pieces on the bottom, 2 pieces for the nacelle, and then 2 pieces for the neck. And the final 2 pieces are back here on this tail part. They come together. So it's very simple, not any small pieces whatsoever. They're all pretty large. It was pretty easy to put together. But I will tell you, the difficulty on this was the seam lines that we get in here. And I didn't do a perfect job, as you can see. It was, you can see a little bit of a gap there, but that would have been way too hard to fill. And but we did manage to fill enough to get rid of the light leaks and get it pretty smooth. One of the harder parts that came to me was here. You can see there's a little bit of a messy paint job that ended up. I might come back and fix that another time. Just sand that down and maybe airbrush it or something. But the seam line is right about here, and you can tell it's not perfect, even though it's smooth to the touch. There's a bit of a lift here. You know, it's not perfectly flat, so it wasn't perfectly easy to do. But all in all, it's pretty good build. I'm pretty happy with it. Here's the front end on the front here. It looks a little funny when the lights aren't on. That's just some solar res I used to fill the hole, and I dug a hole there and put some styrene behind there so it lights up like a photon torpedo. I wanted something going on in the front, so that does light up. Let's see here in the nacelles. We'll zoom in here so you can see that they're white. And if you recall back from a previous video, oh yeah, it was the previous last video we did. There's some green like folder separator material, like that colored plastic that does a really good job of doing a light filter and changing colors of lights. And of course, there's one on there too. So yeah, there's that. Perfect plastic putty I gotta wipe off there, but you know, pretty simple build. I just grabbed an old base. The base that comes with the model is a lot smaller than this. I just wanted a bit wider footprint so it wouldn't tip over on me or anything. And it is, like I said, it's a little bit wobbly, but you can kind of position it, and if it kind of tilts or something, that's okay. It looks like it's flying around, and it's not a horrible effect. And here, let's look at this side here. Some more kind of putty work there. It's really hard to get that super smooth. And down in here, there was some putty work. Pretty much where these things meet, putty work needed. And back here as well, there was a gap we had to fill, but that came out pretty nice. And you can't really see the seam line there. And here's some more shot of the little subtle thing we did with the panel lines. It looks pretty cool in the naked eye. I'm not sure how the camera's picking it up. But that being said, I will pause the video here, and why don't we'll just light this girl up here, and I'll just be back in a minute. I'm going to clean up that little plastic putty stuff over here and turn on the lights, and we'll show you what she looks like. Okay, everyone, here we are. It's showtime, and we'll go ahead and pop on the lights here, and there we go. Now the nacelles are really glowing pretty brightly here on the camera, but in the naked eye it's really not as bright. But as you can see here, all the lights are looking good. They're all the way down the spine back there toward the end of the ship. We've got really nice reflection going on in here, this nice kind of spooky green glow going on, and the lights in here really did come out pretty nice. That using that needle really helped with the Dremel tool. And we'll just pan around here a little bit. There's the photon launcher there, and it looks, like I was saying, it looks a little bit nicer when the lights are on and you don't see that little fuzz of the solar res that I got on there. Unfortunately, a little too much had come out when I put it on, and instead of, you know, trying to wipe it off and making a huge mess of everything, I just solidified it there and went at it. So here we are, coming around this side. Pretty much the same thing. I just did a random window pattern, and it came out really good. I'm really super happy with it. There's the details in there that we were showing before. They're a little bit more illuminated now from the nacelle glow, and we've got some cool details there. The seam line here, the connection point right there, you can kind of see it, but it's overall not too bad. It was not really the best fitting model in this respect here. You could really see the connection point, so it took quite a bit of putty and sanding and multiple days of doing putty work on this thing. That's why it's taken me so long. Really put quite a number of hours into it, but I'm really happy with it. I think the work shows. We've got some other glows here from these little parts of the nacelle there. Now, I was hoping to get some more glow out of the front there. I did shave off the paint, but the light isn't just not penetrating the plastic. So maybe if you're doing this at home, maybe consider drilling a hole in there to let some more light through, or put a little 1.8 millimeter LED in there to light those up. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about them not lighting up as well. It's kind of coming through on them, but not really. It's not really the look I had hoped for. I wanted that a little bit brighter. But again, all in all, it's not going to win any contests, but she sure looks good, and she's going to make a really nice addition over there on the shelf. Now, I just have to make some room, move a Lego or reorganize my shelf over there, but I'll get to that. And that's it. So everyone, that is it for this final video, and I hope you have had a wonderful time watching. Please go ahead and leave a like and a comment there on the video, and it will really help the channel and help get exposure out there. And if you know any modelers or anything, go ahead and share this video to them, and maybe they'll like it. But this one's in the books, everybody. It's going to go up, and then now I have to decide what kit to build next. Still debating on that. I've got so many to choose from, and it's going to be fun, whatever it is. So we will see you on the next video, and I will see you down the road. Take care, everyone.